So this question's given us a cumulative frequency graph, and it's asking us to estimate the median time. Well, the first thing we've got to recognise is that the graph is for a total of 80 people. So an estimate of the median means that we use the 40th person. So we get our ruler and we come across to the graph from 40, and then we come down and we read off, and we recognise that the scale of the graph is showing us that every little square along the bottom is 2. So this would be 68. So that's going to be 68 seconds. So again, it's about finding the middle of the total, which was 80, half of that is 40. Come across the graph and then read down, and that's going to give you 68 seconds for the median time. So 68 seconds was the median. The question goes on, and it asks us to show that, right, a swimmer has to swim 50 meters in 60 seconds, right. So the team captain says more than 25%. Is the team captain right? So it's a starred question. So we have to explain. Right, so if we go back to the graph, and we can see that for 60 seconds, then we can come up to the graph itself. So from 60 seconds we can come up to the graph, and we can come across, and if we read off, then 28. So 28 people took less than 60 seconds. So that's what the graph is telling us. So when we go to this question then, all we have to do is say 28 people took less than 60 seconds. 25% of the total number of swimmers is 20. There was 80 people altogether, so 25% of 80. So the captain is correct. 28 people is more than 20. So more than 25% qualified. The next part of the question is asking us to draw a box plot. We've got to use a cumulative frequency graph. So what we to remember about a box plot is we need 5 values. We need the minimum, we need the maximum, we need the lower quartile value, we need the upper quartile value, and we need the median. So the min, lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile, and the maximum. So we need those 5 values. So minimum, well, they've told us that was 28. The maximum they've told us was 96. The median we worked out from the graph a minute ago was 68. So that just means we've got to find the lower quartile and the upper quartile. So the lower quartile is what it suggests. It's a quarter of the way. There's 80 people altogether in this graph. So a quarter of the way would be 20. So we come across from the graph from 20, and then we read off the value. So again, we've just got to be careful that we read accurately. So we've got 46, and then the upper quartile will be 3/4 of the way, and 3/4 of 80 is 60. So we come across and we come down, and we can see then from 60, if we come down and read off, then this was 76. Again, being careful that each square on here is worth 2. So we now found out that the lower quartile value was 46, and the upper quartile value was 76. So I was saying about reading off carefully, and I've read this wrong, haven't I? So the lower quartile value is 42, 44, 46, 48, 50, 52. Okay, so that's about me being careful. So 52. So it wasn't 46. So I took my own advice and read the scale carefully. So we now plot those values then. So again, the scale across here is 2 for every square. So minimum of 28. So 2, 4, 6, 8. Lower quartile was 52, so 52. Median was 68. Upper quartile was 76. And the maximum was 96. So 96. And because the diagram is like a smiley face with some whiskers, so there's our whiskers, and then we draw a box for the interquartile bit, which is between the lower quartile and the upper quartile. Again, it's never critical how big the box is, just as long as it's looking reasonably symmetrical. And then we plot the median value, and that's our box plot complete with all the values put on. And we needed those 5 values, and don't make the mistake I made. Check your scale and make sure you then read off carefully what your numbers are.